Hey guys, welcome. I'm Mark, one of the core team at Son of Doge, and this is just a refresher video. What I thought I'd put together, just going over the events that transpired over the last week, because in a little bit it'll seem like a dream. It won't seem real, even for myself and Darren. We was there, but I wanted to just make a digital record of what went on while we were there, record it, and just put it out there so people can come back and look at it. And rather than looking on like TG or looking through Instagram or Twitter, looking at photos and that, I thought I'd just do this little video where people can come see what happened, see what it was all about, and looking back, hopefully see where everything changed for Son of Doge. See the moment that catapulted Son of Doge into mainstream media and mainstream limelight of investors, serious investors within the crypto world. And us deciding to book Token 2049 at Singapore and set up a booth that we did. We didn't have to go with the booth that we had in the location that we did, unbeknown at the time how good it was. It's the best decision that we could have made, and hopefully looking back in 3, 6, 12 months from now, when markets are changing and Son of Doge is doing insanely well and market caps are like unbelievably high and everybody is benefiting financially, all the investors that have been with us from the beginning, and it would all stem back to this moment, because us existing in Telegram and doing posts on Twitter now, hopefully that gets word out and people see our project. But before Token 2049, it was primarily people in TG that exist in BSC that knew about Son of Doge. Now, the broader community, the broader investors, the serious investors, people that have got serious money, that have got serious connections, I hadn't got a clue about Son of Doge, and it was apparent through arriving at the Token 2049 event. Now, don't get me wrong, when me and Darren turned up, as he touched on in the AMA, and sorry I wasn't in the AMA as well. I mean, I wanted to be. It's probably the most exciting AMA that I possibly could have spoken. But I went back to work early on Thursday and Friday, and I was absolutely shattered on Friday, and I didn't feel too good, so I just had to crash. But Darren kind of explained everything pretty much to a T on how everything went, and he did touch on how me and him kind of felt a little bit intimidated, a little bit overwhelmed, because we turned up at this event and it's a Marina Bay Sands conference centre. There's the shopping mall underneath it is full of the biggest brands you've ever heard of in the world. The money that walks around these places is incomprehensible to just average people, and we turn up there and we're walking around this environment surrounded by all these people that have got all this wealth, influence, all these networks, relationships that are being built, founders, CEOs, and then you've got me and Darren from Son of Doge. And as we were walking through to our booth, it was a fair walk because ours was like right at the end. Turns out in the best location, like no word of a lie, we had the best booth in the entire place. And we're seeing all these booths and everything seemed like legitimate. Everything seemed like it was a legit project, whether it was a AAA game or whether it was a layer 1 blockchain or it was a layer 2 supporting a layer 1 or a DEX or a market maker, or whatever it may be. Everything seemed to have this legitimacy about it and non-meme related kind of advantages. And then you look at our project and Son of Doge, and we turned up our booth. Don't get me wrong, our booth looked amazing, but we're a meme coin. We was the only meme coin there. I think there was one other project there which had some kind of meme related mascot, but I'm not sure. I don't know what that was. So we kind of left on the initial day after we just familiarized ourselves with the booth and spoke to like different projects which were nearby, and we left and we got back to the room and we're thinking, yeah, this is a bit too much. Like we're a bit out of our depth, and that's kind of what it felt like. But we arrived really early on the morning of the first day, and it was packed. Like it was like it was like turning up at a football match. There was so many people, and we went in. We set up. We got behind our booth, and we had a young guy there who was our mascot, who kind of obviously got in the gear, and we just waited for people to come. And before you know it, me and Darren never stopped. We were literally talking to people, both of us, continuously, with people waiting to talk to us. And we had so much interest in the booth because I think in a way it was refreshing, because in the crypto space, you have all these projects that promise this, and this. And in reality, how many oracles do you need? How many dexes do you need? How many layer ones do you need? How many layer twos do you need? How many market makers do you need? How many of anything do you need? Like you can have a reasonable amount where it gets to a point where you don't need any more. And people create projects thinking that they're going to create this next big thing, but in reality, they're just creating a project to build a community to then give value to the project. Now, us being there, we're a meme coin. We're creating utility to grow the community, but we weren't kind of deceiving people. We weren't saying, well, we've got this utility, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this. At the end of the day, we're a meme coin, and our single goal is to create the biggest community that anyone's ever seen. And by putting ourselves at token 2049, being the only meme coin that was there, it gave us this exposure, which was like nothing seen before. Nobody had ever seen a meme coin before, by the looks of it, walking around this event. Apart from obviously the obvious ones that are proper degens, everyone wants to get into a project like getting early on Shiba, getting early on Dogecoin, getting early on SafeMoon, and we was like touting ourselves as that next project. We was touting ourselves as the project which we're a sub 500k market cap coin. Like we can 1000x. This project can 1000x. It's not out of the realms. It's not like we've got this huge market cap. We've got a tiny market cap, but we've got a decent community. We've got a decent amount of holders. And now we've got this platform, this exposure where we're being showcased in front of the biggest investors in the world. I'm just going to play just this little video just to give you an idea of the people that we're meeting, the environment that we're in, and the kind of reception that we got just through having the mascot. It was pretty intense, and to be part of it and to remember it and to do this video so I can watch it back along other people. It was an exciting place to be. The energy what was there was unbelievable. But yeah, I'm just going to play this video. One sec. So, like, just watching that video, I hope it just give you a sense of what it will like. Now, I just wanted to finish off with the Singapore GP and the after party image, because what me and Darren kind of did getting out there, it was pretty intense. It was tiring, and the event itself, put it in perspective. On day 2 of the event, it got to about 3-4 p.m. in the afternoon, and there was times where I had to sit down because I was shaking, because I was like, I could tell I was on adrenaline, but I think my body was so tired because it had been so intense being on your feet for those days and getting zero sleep pretty much. So having the Singapore Grand Prix at the end and the after party, it was amazing, and we appreciate being there. But also as well, it was even more exposure for networking, because there were people there that was at the event, and like Darren, I think Darren had a picture of with Ran near. Ran from Crypto Man Ran, he had a picture and had a chat to him at the event, and there was a lot going on at these after parties as well, so it was even more networking. But just going back to Token 2049 and just walking around those booths and having the mascot, like the mascot itself, what we spent on the mascot was a huge positive, because the results that we got from having the mascot just brought this abundance of like joy and happiness to people, and everyone was already on a high. The energy levels are up. It's infectious because you're walking around talking to people, and everyone's got this belief in crypto, where we're in this bear market now. This is where everything happens. This is where all the networking, all the relationships are made. Projects are built on, projects are invested in, development's done now, everything's done now, and people in crypto know this. People know this is the time where everybody makes money. This is where everybody accumulates. This is where knowledge comes together and partnerships are made. And having the mascot walking around, it's just like Cloud9, because everyone was buzzing. Everyone wanted to have selfies with the mascot. It was an experience that I'll never forget. I'm sure Darren will never forget. And it's one of them where you kind of had to be there to soak up the atmosphere and soak everything up. And when you look through the projects that were there, like, you're not heard of all of them. You'd heard of a lot of them, but then you're scrolling down, and like here, you scroll and you come to Son Of Doge. And you see us up there with all these names. And before we got there, like I said earlier, it was kind of intimidating. Like, we kind of felt a little bit out of place. But once we were there, everyone was walking around, talking to us, interested in what we did, and understanding that we're a meme coin and we're a community coin, where it doesn't matter what it is you do. Without community, the projects don't have any value. So bringing community to your project through developing utilities, regardless if you're a meme coin or you're a layer 1 or you're a layer 2, it doesn't matter. Like, you need the people to come, you need the community to come to give the project any value at all. And being a community driven project off the get-go, and having utilities to keep our community engaged, I think it was refreshing for people to hear and refreshing for people to see walking around Token 2049 full of like this plethora of projects, which some of them are unique, some of them aren't. But just for us to stand out, have this backdrop with the Son of Doge on, and all our utilities, all our partner projects. Myself and Darren were mentioning all the partner projects too, so everybody got exposure in this ecosystem. And I think, looking back, as Darren said, the only thing we could have done different, I think, is had more feet on the ground, because we had the mascot, which was great. That took pressure off me and Darren. But then there wasn't enough people, because there were so many questions being asked. And as Darren touched on in the AMA, you kind of want to do as much networking as you can with projects, the other projects what are there, and make relationships. But then you've got to be at the booth as well, to talk to all the attendees that are walking around. And also as well with the people that are there, like, we've got to get our mascot out there as well and show that around the event. So myself and Darren were going out there with the mascot, walking around, getting all the social media pictures that are very important, because we need all this to push Son of Doge and get it out there in front of as many people as we can. So, like, just to give you an example, where our booth was, we were right near. Just checking on recording. We were right near one of the main stands, not the main stand, but there's 3 stands there. There's a central one which was huge. Then there's 2 smaller ones, and we had Snoop Dogg's son. He was doing a talk on his project, which is Welcome to the Block, which is all about, like, he's really into Web3. He's an entrepreneur. He's very inspiring when you listen to him and talk to him. And he came off the stand and he saw, obviously, the Son of Doge booth, and we had a little bit of a conversation. We had a picture taken with him, and it's like, this is what dreams are made of. Like, when you want to promote your project, you want to get your face out there in front of influential people. It doesn't really get any bigger than Snoop Dogg's son. Perhaps Snoop Dogg himself, maybe, but like getting a picture of Son of Doge with himself, and then having pictures taken with Ran, Crypto Man Ran, Kyle Chassé, the Moon Carl, the Bitcoin Man. All these people, they've all got influence, and now, for the little time that we spent together, they were all aware of Son of Doge, whereas before the event, they had no idea. And every single person's the same. There were 7,000 plus attendees, and every single person would have walked past Son of Doge, because everyone does the rounds. They all walk around the entire place. So every single person would have seen Son of Doge. We got rid of so many pens and fridge magnets. Myself and Darren had so many conversations with people. Some of it was obviously from just attendees, what are potential investors, some are projects. And a lot of the time, you've not got a clue who you're speaking to. As Herbert, Mr. Bitcoin Man, was telling us, like, he's part of this whale group where they were all at the event, and he said himself, you won't know who the billionaires are. They just walk around in average clothes. They don't broadcast the fact that they've got all this money. They're just looking for potential projects to support, get behind, invest in, and you'll never know about it. And we had this conversation with him, and as Darren said, it was kind of funny because we didn't know who he was. He came up to us, talked to us, wanted a selfie with us, talking about investing in Son of Doge. And it's to him, it was probably refreshing, because he's thinking, well, hang on a minute, they're not asking me for selfies, they're not wanting me to push the project. He did it voluntarily, and he showed interest in Son of Doge, and so many other projects did. We've got so many DMs to get through. We've got so many contacts to catch up with. Some have already reached out. We've reached out to some as well. Over this next week, we're going to be touching base with everyone that we've made contact with. I think between me and Darren, there's probably between 100 and 150 different DMs we've got through Telegram. Just through scanning our QR codes, or them scanning our QR codes, and there's going to be some good relationships formed through this event. And to put a value on it, it's hard, because right now there's not been any direct correlation with the chart and the event. But I think it takes time. It takes time for people to digest what conversations they've had, and to spend time going over all the DMs, all the messages that they've got. And I said some relationships that we've got will benefit us moving forward, ready for the bull run. Like not necessarily right away, because it might be collaborations that we've got where we work with other projects. So when the bull market does come, when things turn around, we've got kind of advertising done through other projects that we're partnering with, that are going to get a huge exposure. And there's a couple of projects that I can't really digress about, but potentially they've got the potential of worldwide exposure for Son of Doge. So there's a few really good key partnerships that we're kind of pursuing, and just touching base with every single person that was there. And hopefully, even if they can't help us right now, like Darren was saying, he was speaking. Someone from Binance has reached out because they were there as attendees. It's not always just individuals; sometimes it's projects. And we've spoke to. Well, I've had conversations with OKX, MEXC, KuCoin. There's all different conversations that we've had with these different projects, like centralized exchanges specifically. But right now, we're not in a position where we can like go onto a centralized exchange of that nature. We've got the one that we've got. We're going to stick with that for now. But building these relationships now, moving forward, it gives us the potential to get really good deals. And maybe there's like accelerator programs or collaborations that we can work with different projects and kind of boost our exposure as a meme coin, as Son of Doge, and get our name out there to as many people as possible. And all these relationships we can harness now and grow and keep in contact with. Moving forward, it's going to benefit Son of Doge because we can keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So I hope this video's not been too long, not bored you too much, give you a bit of an insight into what happened and at Token 2049, and hopefully in the coming weeks, months, even year, like a year from now, the bull market's probably just getting going. Stuff that we're doing now, like the time we've spent now, the people that we've met at Token 2049, the relationships that we're building and hopefully continue to build and possibly go to future events. This'll have a positive role, a positive impact on Son of Doge. So don't expect anything immediately. We could get people investing that we've spoke to, like the Bitcoin man, or other people that have seen potential and want to push a project and want to grow it and be part of it early. That could happen, and it could happen soon. But also it could take months, because things don't always happen straight away. Like we've planted the seed, we've made the initial relationship. We're going to continue speaking to these people. Some of the people that possibly will invest, we might not have spoke to, or we might have spoke to them and not really thought anything of it. But in time, what we've done here at Token 2049 is going to reap benefits, because even if people saw Son of Doge now and didn't think anything of it, once the bull market comes and we have got investment coming in through other people at Token 2049, and it does start to grow, then it'll trigger a memory where they'll think, oh yeah, I remember those guys at Token 2049. They were really, really solid guys. They had a good booth. They had the mascot. They're a community project. Obviously something's going well. They're growing. They're expanding. I'm going to get in on this before it does something crazy. And I think that's what's going to happen. Personally, I think we're going to do amazing things. I think we've got ourselves out there now. Everybody knows who we are, and if we can continue pushing and continuing to get Son of Doge out there, then even more people are going to be aware of our project. So watch this space. If you haven't invested yet, not financial advice, but I'd certainly grab myself a little bag. And if you are invested, just sit back and hold tight. And if you want to DCA more, feel free. If you don't, that's fine. Just support the project any way you can. Like jump on Twitter, push different tweets out that we send, reply to other people's tweets, like for instance, Champ Medici, which is Snoop Dogg's son, Kyle Chasse, the Moon Carl, Crypto Man Ran. Anyone that's kind of looking for projects to invest in, just reply to these guys and show them content, show them videos that we've had, show them photos that we've got of the event Token 2049. Push it, because the power is in the community. We're a community coin. All projects are community driven. It's if the community gets behind the project and does everything in your power to do your little bit by tweeting away and commenting and replying on posts, it's what makes a difference, and it's what gets other people involved in the community. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it, and catch you on the next video. Bye guys.